Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the series A Town Called Malice, starring Jason Flemyng and Martha Plimpton, and currently streaming on the network Sky. This is a story about a South London crime family whose criminal empire is kind of a grand word, they're mid-level at best, is slowly crumbling, and they're trying to gain back their former criminal status. Uh, and they end up in the Costa del Sol in Spain. The time period for this series is the early 1980s, and that permeates every aspect of this series. Definitely in the production design, the Miami Vice motif is threaded throughout. The pastel colors, of course, the Costa del Sol and South Beach in Miami are similar, with palm trees and the beach and all of that. Of course, lots of sunshine. The soundtrack is just a booming series of top 40s, 80s hits, many of which I believe have been remastered because they have a depth to them that I don't remember when they were originally coming out. Of course, it may have had something to do with what I was listening to those songs on at the time. Definitely, audio equipment is much better these days than it was back then. Um, anyway, terrific series. I really, really enjoyed this. There are 8 episodes in the first season. Um, it is a crime story. It's also all about family dynamics. There is a main plot, there are subplots, there are subplots, all of which are presented in a logical sequence. So things unfold as they should, secrets are revealed. Um, it's easy enough to follow, it's complex enough to stay interesting. It's definitely a cut above the usual television tripe. I can't recommend this series enough. I really, really enjoyed it. My one niggle with it, I guess, is it does surround that 80s thing. Whenever a modern day not so much movies because they tend to have bigger budgets, but modern day television series takes place in a past era, but recent past, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 50s to a degree. Everything is always shiny and new. Everybody's clothes are up to the minute of the day's fashion. Everybody's cars are that year's model and in perfect condition. And I understand the reasoning behind it, having had a little bit of insight from people that collect cars. They are often contacted by production companies saying, oh, hey, you've got a 1967 Mustang, and we're shooting a TV series that takes place in 1968, so we need an example of this car parked on the street. And these guys get paid, depending on what their vehicle does in the show. These guys get paid, either a small stipend or a substantial amount of money if the star is driving around in their car. Anyway, because they're using cars from collectors and enthusiasts, those cars are always in terrific shape. But if you go out, especially, and having been there, I know, in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, if you were to go out on the street of any major town or city, you would see cars spanning probably 20, 25 years and in all kinds of conditions. Everything from, just a beater that's 10 miles away from the scrapyard to something that just came out of a showroom. In period pieces, they are all just out of a showroom, and it's kind of an odd little thing. And this series is no exception, though I suspect because they are so heavily invested in that whole 80s MTV look that it's deliberate. Anyway, I digress a lot on that particular topic. Speaking of MTV, the soundtrack is just wonderful. Lots of songs that I remember and haven't heard for many years, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. There are a couple of scenes where the characters actually break out in sort of a lip sync song and dance to whatever song is playing. It sounds dumb. It isn't. It totally works. So don't be put off by my description. It's a device that they use in this series, and it's really good. Not a lot of well-known actors to me anyway, other than Jason Fleming and Martha Plimpton, both of whom have long storied careers behind them. The rest of the cast are new to me, although I did look them up on IMDb and I've seen shows that they've been in. I just don't remember them from any of those shows. I will, however, definitely be looking for them in the future. No idea if there's going to be a season 2. The way that season 1 concluded, there absolutely could be, or it could be a one-off and leave most viewers fairly satisfied with how everything was resolved. As always, thank you so much for watching, and please leave me a comment. Have you watched A Town Called Malice? Oh, I forgot to mention, the title comes from a 1982 song of the same name, A Town Called Malice, by The Jam, which was very much an anthem about the struggles of the British working class in the early 80s. Britain suffered more than most countries at the time. And that song is very poignant, and the lyrics are well worth looking up if you have the opportunity. It's also a pretty good little song. Anyway, again, thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think. Bye for now.